Welcome, everyone, and I'm joined today by Jamie Fair. We co-wrote a book together, The Power of Transformation. How good is it? It's great to be chatting with you today, Jamie. And we've been receiving quite a few reviews, and the book has been reaching people all around the globe. Have you had a chance to read any of the reviews? How humbling is it?
Not recently. I read,
Okay.
early on when we did the pre-release, I
Yes.
went and read
Yes.
some.
Okay.
Um, and as before, John, when we wrote together, my whole purpose
Yes.
was I just want to impact someone, right? Just at least one person, please be impacted by the work that we put in. That's the whole point of this. So I love that we have some positive reviews. It's landing with people. That's what it's all about for me. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I shared just off air that one of the reviews, you share a forgiveness process in one of your sections, and she actually screenshot it and then put it in with the review. And I love it when
Oh,
people do that. And
cool.
just, yeah, it really resonated with her. And a common thread and theme throughout is that the book is not just about, okay, this is what I found helpful. It's like, well, these are some of the experiences I went through and this is what I
Right.
found helpful. So, warts and all. So,
That's right. It was been an interesting life, that's for sure. And you and I both had a whole bunch of wild, crazy experiences that led us to where we are. And we wanted to save some people some trouble and help them along their path as well. So that was a really great project. Thanks for letting me come along on that ride. That was amazing.
yeah, it was so great to have you a part of it. And I've always looked up to you in certain ways, and I felt like quite intimidated in certain parts of the writing journey. I was like, oh my God, like, is this going to be good enough next to Jamie Fair? Like,
Oh,
so I just really impressed with your journey and what you've been able to do when your work is, elevated. You're working as a CEO. Although, it sounded amazing. You told me I was living in a camp, my RV.
was
I was like, what?
there was some sacrifice to that one.
You
Yeah.
made
So
some sacrifices.
I
That was
got to be
even more
regional
impressive.
CEO, but the price
Yeah,
was living 800 miles away from my family and home
yeah,
in my own motorhome for a year and a half. And my wife would come up and visit periodically. I would come down and visit her, but we were
yeah.
living apart, and yeah, it was like me and the dog up there in Eastern Washington for quite a while. So there was some sacrifice involved for sure, but it was an amazing journey. I wouldn't have done it any differently. And like much of my life, I just said, yes, let's see how this plays out, right? And that's,
Yeah.
I think you and I both came from a place where we struggled and we were able to accomplish a great deal, become the people we wanted to become. And
Yeah.
that's really what we wanted to share in these stories was this is possible for anyone. There's nothing special about us, we didn't do anything differently. We just said yes when life started showing up for us. And I hope everyone does that as well. And I hope that's one of the lessons people take from the book is it's okay to say yes to life.
So, yeah, I totally agree. It's okay to say yes, you deserve it, and
Yeah.
any dream that you can dream can come true. And in fact, the more that it scares you, then the more you should pursue
There's
it.
something
And
there for you.
there's something there
Exactly.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah, you share that in your section.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
curious. I mean, what would you say after uh, many lived experiences and writing the book? What would you say in a nutshell do you feel like there is a like a pattern to transformation in your life? Like does it go through certain stages?
Yes. I mean, and that's, we kind of detail it a bit in the book. It starts
Yeah,
with, I'm no longer satisfied with where I am. I'm
yeah,
not okay with this anymore. This is not where I've been. For me, it was nearly homeless. For me, it was running out of food, right? It was, some pretty severe, to want to make a life change, a decision to do it. And then I think just that alone incites some kind of power out there that starts lighting things up for us. So then, as I said earlier, it's up to us to start saying yes. And I refer to it in the book as taking bold actions. I really believe that, especially if it's frightening for us, there's something there for us. For me, it was public speaking. I was utterly terrified of public speaking as a child. Like I'd rather die than done in public speaking. So saying yes to those things that forced me to do public speaking once I did that enough, I found on the other side, like, oh, I love doing this. This is fun. I still get nervous. I still sweat and sometimes don't sleep a day beforehand. But it is absolutely one of my passions. And I think that is the way for everyone. If we just get past that fear, we'll find there's something beautiful on the other side of that. So for me, I would say if I had to take anything from the book, it's please take bold actions. Just don't be afraid. There is so much more out there. And I think we hesitate. We worry about whether we can make it. We worry about whether we're good enough, whether we're smart enough, whether we're old enough or young enough. Tony Robbins says you go from I'm too young to I'm too old overnight. So
Right. Yeah.
we always have these excuses of what, what's going to prevent us. Well, what if you
Right.
had reasons to say yes? What if you just went for it? Why not? Let's see what happens. And that's what I did a lot. And I did a lot of things that were miles outside of my comfort zone. And every single time there was not a single one I ever did that I would regret. Now, some of them didn't plan out, but in the end, I learned a lesson. At worst case, I had a lesson. Best case, I got blessings, whatever you want to call them. My life grew, I grew from those events. So take bold actions. That's my thing.
Yeah, take bold actions. And yeah, sometimes, yeah, I find that, yeah, it's definitely can be a scary place, but also can be exciting, exhilarating.
Yeah.
There's the growth spurt. There's nothing than, working towards something, building confidence within yourself. That's what I found along the journey. And if you're not feeling enough, not feeling worthy, but still moving forward anyway, then
Yeah.
helps heal that wound that all of us have on different levels.
Yeah.
No one escapes that of not, I'm not enough, or everyone has that on some level. And even Tony, as you were showing before, who's 6'6", talks to millions of people around the world, is a billionaire in business, and it's different times. He still feels like, well, am I, what I'm doing, is it enough? Which
Yeah.
is crazy to think about. That I guess there's a blessing in that as well. That then it create, and what you alluded to before with transformation, it creates that uneasiness, or I'm not satisfied where I'm at, and it leads to innovation and growth and getting outside the comfort zone that you've built for yourself. Um, who someone else might
Yeah.
be striving for, right? Someone else might be striving for your current comfort zone, and they're like, "Oh my God, I wish I had that life." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh well, it's so familiar now. I want to move on to this other
Right.
part and create this reality and bring this into the world." So
Yeah. No matter where you are in life, someone somewhere wishes they were you, for sure.
for
Right?
sure,
But
probably,
that is not justification for you to stay where you are, to stay small, to stay stuck.
100%.
You
Yeah,
know, when we stay where we are, we stagnate. And I don't know, Tony Robbins says if you stagnate, you're dying, right? If there's no growth, then you're dying. And I'm obviously a big Tony Robbins fan. I will try to stop quoting him, but uh, yeah, that's huge. Everything is about growth for me. And it was actually a Tony Robbins event where I kind of learned some of that. But
yeah,
long before that, for me, I was spurned on literally by I don't have enough food to eat. And that was like,
right.
okay, I have to make a change. This is not sufficient where I am. This is not okay. I didn't come here to live like this is what came up for me when I in that experience for sure.
And you also working as a laborer after school.
Yeah, that was it's
That's
all I
tough.
have felt qualified to do, right? I'm
Oh,
consider myself a pretty smart guy. I did really well in school. I obviously had some innate talents, but I had low self-esteem, and low self-esteem will block you every step of the way. No matter what you think you can do, if you don't believe you have the self-worth to do it, you're not going to go after those things. You're unfortunately, our mind prevents us from trying to fail that badly. Like, no, that's too much, that's too scary, that's not for me, whatever it may be. Um, yeah, so stagnation is a terrible place to be. I remember at one point in my life, I was 19 years old. I'd had a kid at 19. I had two at 20. I was
wow.
working at a fast food place. And I remember thinking, like, there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than just getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids over and over and over and over. And turns out there is, but you got to go for it.
You got to go for it 100%.
Yeah.
Uh, and I like Tony as well. And one of Tony's analogies is that, the box living. So going to work like living in a box, going to
Mhm.
work in a box, going the same route every day to, working in a box, you're in a cubicle or whatever. And
Yeah.
one of the things that his groundbreaking book for many people I found is Waking the Giant Within. And
Yeah.
one of the exercises he does is challenging the reader to see things differently. If I ask you to just do, if you think of the color blue, close your eyes and then open your eyes and then look for all the things that are red in your environment. And you just see all the things that are blue, you don't see the things that are red. And I feel
Yeah.
like at some point, and that's the power of transformation, is challenging yourself to see differently, to be differently, and to
Yeah.
change your patterns and behaviors, and then you can change your reality, right? So,
Absolutely. And our minds, there's so much noise out there that our minds will filter down to what we think is important.
yeah,
So if we're focused on stress, anxiety, worry about the future, that's all we're going to see. Just like if you buy a new car, you see all of a sudden you see that new car everywhere. Like I had no idea there were that many cars out there, right? I bought a red Honda. Suddenly I see a red Honda everywhere I go. I thought I was the only one with this particular red Honda. But it turns out, that's not the case. And unfortunately, this is what we do with our minds. When we focus on things that aren't going well, that's all we see.
yeah,
And I've seen this with a lot of people in my life, unfortunately, where people will, an angry person goes out in the world and they only see anger. And and yet a loving person will go out in the world and have a completely different experience in that same world. So you find what you're looking for. You find what you're focused on, for sure.
yeah, 100%. And expands. And I feel like that's what you're alluding to, that an angry
Yeah,
person finds angriness everywhere. Yeah, whereas there's just so much good in our everyday existence. And I feel like that's so advantageous to turn the TV off, and not
yeah,
be saturated with the news. Yes, I just find like the important news finds me when I need to see it and not
yeah,
to inundate myself with bad news stories because in any given day in your reality, you're going out, you're in Salt Lake City, Utah,
yes, sir. Yeah,
and you can go out in any given day there and not see any of these terrible things that you may see on the news if you turn on, the news channel. And I guess there's like you could just be completely saturated with bad news, but on any given day, you're walking around your neighborhood and you're not seeing any of that. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I intentionally subscribe to some good news
Right.
programs and
Yeah.
newsletters and
Yeah.
websites because that's not the default. The default out there is bad news.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these producers, these newscasters have learned that if you want to get people's attention, then make it dramatic, make it traumatic, make it awful. And the more awful it is, the more eyes you get on it. And now you've got viewers, and then your ad spend goes up. So it's become a world where how many people can we get to look at this by making it as traumatic and awful as possible? I remember in the United States there was some political divide, and I found this political cartoon, and it showed the majority of the people out there. There was like one camera on them. There was a couple of people making a whole lot of noise, and all the cameras were on them. So what we see is that this is the reality, but that's not the reality. It's a small percentage of the reality.
100%. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
over dramatized,
absolutely.
sensationalized, fear based,
Yep.
feel as dangerous as possible. And so we've got your
Yep.
primal attention, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just taking, as you said, you're creating your own default. So defaulting to good news, defaulting to gratitude. So you're changing your set point. What you go back to, don't go to the news, go to good news.
Right. Right.
Subscribe to articles. Yeah, watch
Yeah.
inspiring movies or series
Yes.
that have
Yeah. We're
inspiring messages.
we're default negative people, unfortunately, as much as we'd like to, say we're not.
Oh
We really
yeah.
are. Given a neutral situation, we're like, oh, it's horrible by default. And so we have to do this positive reinforcement. Otherwise, we're going to start defaulting to the negative side. Um, I see this. The story I tell is so imagine you want more love in your life, right? And you look around and you realize that I'm not getting enough love in my life. My wife ignores me, my spouse ignores me, my pet didn't pay attention to me, and you start seeing all these examples of it. And so rather than demanding the world around you be a certain way, go out into the world being that way yourself. So instead of saying, wow, my wife isn't paying attention to me, well, what if you decided like, hey, I'm gonna go be loving to my wife? Now, how more likely is she to be loving to you? If you go pet the cat or, play ball with the dog, whatever it may be, how more likely is that animal to give you attention? So we need to be the thing that we're looking for out there and not seek it outside of us, but rather find it in us, and then we'll begin to see it out in the world around us.
Right, I like that. Yeah, it's so true. And it's also, I mean, your environment's so important as well. Like, what environments are you putting yourself in? What are you consuming? What are you watching and reading? And what was you? I mean, I know you're an avid reader. What book are you reading at the moment? Do you have like several on the go, or do you
Oh
focus on
yeah.
one book? Okay.
I tend to read two-thirds or three-fourths of one that interests me, maybe a third, then I'm on to something else, and then maybe I come back to it, maybe I don't. I tend to be a voracious purchaser of books. I do read every night, but I long ago taught myself to as a way to fall asleep. So I read every night and I drift off
Okay.
to sleep, which makes
Oh.
it very challenging during the day if I want to read a book, because then I'm like, start to fade
Really?
out. But currently, I'm reading Upper Limit Problem. Uh, Great, great book about how we cap ourselves. And then we do things to self-sabotage and things like that in order to keep ourselves stuck that way. I'm trying to remember the author's name. I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, Upper Limit Problem by, it'll come to me in a minute.
An upper limit problem. It sounds like a great book.
It is a great book.
Yeah.
Gay Hendricks.
Gay Hendricks. Okay, he's
Yeah.
the relationship guy. So he does
Yeah, among other things.
like
Yeah.
relationship thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen him. Yeah, yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, been around, been an old school guy for sure. Yeah, and just phenomenal work. Talks a lot about this upper limit problem.
Yeah.
That's one of my go-tos recently. I've actually been reading. It's a bit on the spiritual side, but some Abraham Hicks books.
Oh, nice.
So on the spiritual side as well. I do have Awaken the Giant Within. I started to read that one. It's a tough read, so I found something a little more entertaining for a little while. I'll come back to it, I'm sure. But
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I read that pretty quickly. I just because I've done a lot of NLP, neuro linguistic
mm,
programming. So I
yeah.
understood a lot of the processes and things like that. But yeah, I find that it's a big book, but I find it's just
It's,
there's so much in it. Yeah, it's a big read, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, you just yeah, some books, and then of course the power of transformation. What a book!
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you got
Everyone
to.
should read that one.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the reviews
Yeah.
have been awesome. So,
Excellent.
we're launching the book today officially. And so you can get the book 99 cents. You can get the Audible book for 9.99 or paperback for 15.50. And we've had some outstanding reviews, which is really humbling. And I love your storytelling style. And it's you really share you don't hold back in terms of your the rough parts of your journey, but also the good stuff as well, and and everything in between. What is one like thing that you're really proud of, or what's one thing that you hope readers get from the book?
I I think storytelling is a way to really get messages across. It adds emotional content. It's real. It's not something I'm just making up. I love all the fiction books I've read, but writing nonfiction is a whole different ballgame, right?
Yeah,
It's a real deal. So in order to convey lessons, I believe in telling stories. Start with a story. Explain, how this played out for me, and then
yeah,
go into the lesson about it. So for me, it was able to translate a lot of stories that were real events that occurred in my life and put those in a way that are digestible to someone else and a way they can see that, okay, this is why he chose that. Now I get what he's talking about. That's what I'm really after with those. I
yeah.
think,
A non-fiction book.
yeah,
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 it's
yeah. For me,
self-help fiction.
That's right. Good call out. Um, there were a lot of times in my life when I stepped outside of my comfort zone and found amazing things. And one of the biggest ones in my life was my wife.
Yeah.
I know you and I have shared this story before, but
Oh, good.
I had to step like 37 miles outside of my comfort zone to talk to a woman. For everyone's benefit, I'm an IT guy. Uh, I was raised kind of not kind of nerdy, right? I'm a nerd guy. I video games, and that's my jam. So computers and IT and all that. So women, not so much, right? I could talk to them, sure, but ask someone out, heavens no. I was too scared to ask anyone out in school. I never went to any of the dances because that would require me to have a conversation about going out with someone. So I didn't go on any dates. I didn't go on any dances. That was way I could not. There was no way I could do that. That's kind of approaching that public speaking thing, and that was even worse because now the opposite sex was involved, and it was way too much for me. And I had recently left a 20-year marriage that I knew wasn't right for in any of us, the children or my wife or I, my ex-wife or I. And I met who is now my current wife and the woman of my dreams. But at the time, in order to do that meeting, I had to have a conversation with someone. And it was so utterly terrifying. But this is where life presented me a choice. I could ignore it and walk away, and I might still be single today. I have no idea. Or I could go after. I could step up. I could take the bold action of talking to someone. And I did. And I thought I was Mr. Suave and cool, like, hi, my name is Jamie, yeah. And she said, my hand was like, just shaking like a leaf. And that was the reality because inside I was so terrified, man. But in doing so, what I did not anticipate, trying to be Mr. Cool, was that she saw that I was a real person. I wasn't coming on with a Mr. Pickup line, right, or anything like that. I was genuinely terrified, and I did it anyway. And so she knew I was real, I was authentic, and that's what actually created a connection with us. And we went out a couple of weeks later, and we've been together ever since. So there's a prime example of taking bold actions. And again, it took everything I had and then some. I did not know I had it in me to be able to do that until I did it. And I think a lot of us operate in that way. We don't know what we're capable of until we allow ourselves to do that, to step up to this plate.
That's so true. It is so true that, and then it's kind of like if you know that you have to take action because if you don't, the regret would be like far greater.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's where you were, and that's a pivotal moment in a lot of transformation. Is like you have like a choice, right? You could
Yeah.
go and say hello, introduce yourself. In fact, you go deeper in the book. You actually drove away.
I did. I left. Yeah, it was no, I'm like, I can't do this. There's no way. I have no pickup lines. I don't know how to talk to women. And I left. And the whole way back, I was kicking myself. And there's this voice in my head going, go back. Right? This is an opportunity. And I mean, it's hard to describe, but a war raged in my head with
Yeah.
one part of me going, go back, one part of me saying, what am I going to say to her? I don't need pickup. I don't know what to do about this situation. I have no experience. I can go fix a computer, but I don't know how to do this with a female and a war. It was probably I don't know, 10-15 minute drive back. And the whole way I was just this war. I felt like I was splitting my brain in two, and they were battling each other out. And in the end, one of them won over, and I pulled up to the curb and told my lunch mate who was with me from work and said, get out, please. And he's like, you're going back, aren't you? I said, yes, I am.
Did you
So
say
yeah, and
please or just say get out?
no,
Get
I
out
said,
of
yeah,
my car.
get out. And he's like, you're going back. I said, yeah. I didn't tell him why. He knew immediately
Oh,
why.
yeah, that's awesome.
But and
Hilarious.
I'll tell a funny part of the story and
Yeah,
it is in the book, is
yeah.
that I had gotten a drink so this was at a lunch event at a deli, and I had went to get a drink from one of the soda dispensing machines, and it was out, so it just kind of sprayed stuff. And so I had asked them to go change the whatever they do in the back and the magic
Oh,
to get the stuff to actually work. And I got my drink, and then I left. When I decided to come back, that had gotten all over my hands, the soda, and it had dried. And all of a sudden, my hands were sticking to the steering wheel, like, and I can't shake someone's, I can't meet a girl like this, right? So I'm like trying to look. I'm searching my whole car. I have no water anywhere. Usually I've got some got a yeah, spare water. I got something. No water anywhere. So I'm trying the like the old parental spit bath routine. Here we go. And it's not working. It's spreading it worse. Now it's all over my hands.
You have
So
soap like in the bathroom?
so I had to go back to the bathroom. That's what I had to
Oh,
do.
right.
But on the way driving, I didn't know I didn't have soap with me
Yeah,
in the
yeah, of
car.
course.
So yeah, so when I got back, not only did I have to go back, I had to get out of my car and walk which felt like 300 miles and through uphill the whole way, right, to get to the door. But once I got inside, I had to try to sneak past her to go to the bathroom to wash my hands before I met her because I'm like, I did get hi, ew, right? So
Uh,
funny life.
that's uh, that's inspiring. It's inspiring, Cher. You definitely inspired me, and yeah, that took
And
a
now
lot of
you have
courage to
someone
do
in your
that.
life
Yeah,
as
now I've
well,
got a
right?
girlfriend, so you can take full responsibility for that, James. I read that
Gladly, my
story
friend.
so many times. I've heard it so many times. So now I've got a girlfriend. So
One
yeah,
down.
so you could just help one person.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
that
the
was
goal for sure.
yeah, it's a great story, and yeah, it's like right in that moment of yeah, like you have a decision and a choice to make.
Yeah,
It's typical hero's journey. At first, you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to walk away, but you couldn't.
right.
It was like the idea that wouldn't go away. It kept tapping you on the
Yeah,
shoulder as the voice. And I had a similar experience with making the documentary, The Gift in Adversity. It was like an idea that
yeah.
wouldn't go away, and yeah, I just kept
But
tapping.
it felt overwhelming and too much.
Right. It's
And
so like I've
yeah,
got to take action on this. And when you take action, that voice, that fear dissipates somewhat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then afterwards, you feel so much better about yourself. And
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. I kind of describe it as in the book as walls. I think they're like walls of fear. It's what they feel like. They feel like a brick wall that we can't get through. And yet I've found if you just keep chipping away at that thing every day, right? A little bit at a time. For me, public speaking was that way. There was just here's an opportunity to public speak. Here's a podcast I can do, whatever it may be.
yeah,
And life kind of threw them at me, and I just kept saying yes and yes and yes. And I'm sure sometimes I said no because it exceeded what I believed I was capable of. But if we could just keep chipping away at that wall, because the truth is they're not going away. You can walk away from them, but those fears are always going to be there. They're going to limit you from what you can do in life. There are people in my life now who said I could never speak in public, and I'm like, actually, you could. It just takes a lot of practice. You do it over and over and over again, chipping away at that wall, right? Toastmasters, a Boy Scout merit badge, whatever it was, that was what it was for me. Recording my voice on a phone system. There were just lots of opportunities that came up, and it's that saying yes over and over, even though it's uncomfortable, that really makes a big difference. Chip
yes,
away at that wall.
yeah, yeah, chipping away at it. And now you're delivering motivational talks every week now,
Yes, every month. So far, it's monthly.
every month, once a month.
Hoping to turn it up
Okay.
to weekly. That'd be even better. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I teach a group of 50 to 60 executives down to team leads, supervisors, the whole range, a leadership concept, and I do it in a very impassioned, high energy way
Yeah.
because I want it to land with people. I don't want to bore people. I want them to be excited about it. And I did actually. I do not even compare myself in any way whatsoever. But one guy said to me, "Hey, Tony Robbins me, would you?" I was like, "Okay, that sounds cool. I like the sound of that." If he thinks I'm
What
like
did
a
he
little bit.
say? Sorry, I missed that. What did he say?
He said, "Tony Robbins me, would you? Give me some more of that
Tony
Tony Robbins
Roberts
stuff."
me.
So,
Everyone jumping.
yeah, yeah. I didn't have him dancing yet. We'll see. I'll get
Oh,
there one
okay.
day.
There's normally that interval dancing up on stage. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My wife's a
cool.
trainer. In fact, she's in San Diego right now at
Oh,
his one of his events for the youth
yeah,
leadership
wow.
program.
That's really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
because I know Holly, she got up at her very first event. You guys were together, of course, in front of 5,000 people.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So uh, I'll just share openly. That's how I roll. But we had she really wanted a baby. She wanted to be a mother her whole life. That was her dream. And she had been with two other marriages that didn't work out, and she knew that they weren't the right ones. And when she and I met, she believed that was I was the right person, and it was part of the deal. She said like I want to have a child. If we're gonna be together, I want to have a child. I'm like, okay, part of the deal. And we waited a while. We waited till our lives got stabilized. We had good jobs. We had a home. And then she's like, all right, now it's time to have that baby. And we tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. And she got pregnant for a little less than 2 weeks. It was right before Christmas time. And she went in for, I think she said something was wrong. And she went in to get the echogram. I can't remember what they're called. And discovered that it was an ectopic pregnancy. So the baby was growing in her fetal tube, and uh, she had to have it surgically removed. So the baby and her fallopian tube, I don't know, fetal tube? I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, fallopian tube had to be removed, and she was devastated. And we tried everything. We did the infertility route. We spent crazy amounts of money down the infertility route and all these various drugs and these experimental programs, and we just tried everything. And in the end, she was just not able to conceive and hold a baby, and it devastated her. And she was down hard. She was in this I just mired in depression. And it went on for 2 years to the point where I was like, am I going to get my spouse? I didn't, not only did I lose a daughter, she believed it was going to be a daughter, not only did I lose a child, I lost my spouse as well. And I began to wonder, like, am I ever going to get her back? And one day we were sitting on the couch, or no, she called me over. She said, "Hey, I want you to watch this movie with me." And it was Tony Robbins' his program called "I'm Not Your Guru" on Netflix, and it's a documentary of the Date with Destiny event. And at the end of it, she goes, "That's it, we're going." And we're taking the kids. And I have two kids from a previous marriage, and we took them as well. Sure enough, 3 months later, we were down in Florida. And we went through the whole process. It's day and night. You go, and I'm a morning guy. I'm a 5 a.m. guy, right? First night we were up till 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, what have I got myself into? Next night, 2 a.m. Next night, 3 a.m. And it's freezing cold in this place. Like you can see clouds forming in the air conditioner. It's crazy cold. And anyway, on the very last day, he was doing a process and he said, Holly Fair, come on the stage. And he called my wife up there. And I got to watch her do this process where she acknowledged what she had been giving up, number one, what she'd been losing. And he said, what would you have to forget in order to go back to this? And in a moment of just this flash of insight, she said, I have to forget I'm a queen. And she kind of did this crowning herself thing, and then she strutted around the stage like a queen, all royal and all that. And the audience went crazy. And there were like it was 5,000 people in the stadium, and they were on their feet and cheering for her and screaming. And in that moment, she realized that everyone is on my side. We have this belief that we're all alone and no one cares and all this, but it's not true. When we go for it, when we strive for something, people will cheer us on, absolutely. And so anyway, so this event completely changed her life, and now she volunteers for the Tony Robbins event because of that. So it was a beautiful process, and I got my wife back because of it. So
Yeah, great
yeah.
story. And of course, I published that story in the book series. And, so yeah, I heard
Oh,
that.
that's right. I
Yeah,
forgot
I
about
did.
that. She
Yeah,
was an
yeah,
author
yeah.
too. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but it's just awesome to hear you share it, and I know that was a very transformational, pivotal moment in your
Yeah,
relationship and in both your lives, and it's
absolutely.
really inspiring. I appreciate the courage and vulnerability that takes to share that story, and
Yeah.
someone's out there maybe going through something similar right now, and just hearing you share that is helping them not feel alone. That
I hope so.
there are
Yeah.
options.
Whatever we're going through, somebody else has probably done it too, or a lot of someone else's have gone through it. That's
Yeah,
important we keep that in mind.
yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
yeah, to share it that you're not alone, and transformation is possible. To live life again is possible. To
Yeah.
dream again is possible.
Yeah.
She takes that. She wears that crown. She's got a crown now everywhere, and it's a real talking point. That she's very conversational now, and I feel like that was just one of the many gifts that came out of that transformation.
Yeah. Again, when when you take steps to step away from what you believe you're mired in, the story we're in. A lot of times we're in our stories. We believe that life is a certain way, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to stay that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful share. And has your mother read the book? Had you
Not yet. No,
have
my
you told
copies are
her that
coming.
okay, had you told her that you're writing this
Oh
book?
yeah, oh yeah. She's known
Okay,
about it for a long time, and
yeah.
she would pester me every once in a while. So when's it gonna get out? When's it gonna come out? So she ordered a copy. She did the pre-order.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
so
nice.
it's on her way to her. But yeah,
Okay,
actually no, I think she has the Kindle version now.
the
So
Kindle
she is
version. Okay. Well, your
yeah. So I think
paperbacks
she's
are on
reading.
the way to you. So I
Awesome.
believe that you're going to receive them in a week's time, 14th of
Okay.
July. So
It was what 3 years in the making. We worked on this, John.
3 years in the making. Yeah, we started around about February, January 2023. And so just over
So
three
wow.
years.
So
Yeah,
it's more than 3 years. I was
more
trying
than
to remember. I
three
was like,
years.
has it been 2.5 or 3.5? I know it's been a long
Yeah,
time.
I think it's been almost 3.5 years. What is it?
Yeah.
July now. So yeah, we started, I think it was February 2023. And yeah,
Well,
it's
I,
worth
I
the
sincerely
wait.
appreciate you for tolerating my newness to all of this and having no
All
idea
good.
what I was doing, but uh, something phenomenal came out of it. So
We
thank
had
you for that
a running
opportunity.
joke within our team that to get hold of Jamie, you got to send him 5 emails and he'll answer one. So Mr. Big CEO over here doesn't respond to
Yeah, yeah.
email.
Well, when you're working 12, 14-hour days, the last thing you do is
Yeah,
check your
yeah, no.
personal email and respond to something, right? And then
Yeah.
I'll see it and I see it. I'm like, oh, I got to deal with that. And then by the fourth or fifth one, I go, oh, I've got to deal with this. They're
You
gonna
got to
throw me a
deal with
curve if
it.
I don't. Yeah. So yeah, I
It's an
apologize for being the
emergency. No, it's all good. It's all good. It was a running joke. One in five.
So I've been really good about trying to respond the first time that your team reaches out to me now.
It's so good. And yeah, there was a lot going on in both our lives. My father passed away
You were
right at
doing,
the beginning of the
yeah,
book. And yeah, I found it challenging to get going.
yeah.
And then, yeah, there's parts of that section in the book as well. And it's just the whole dynamic has just shifted and changed. And
And the
um,
documentary came in about then as well.
documentary came, yeah, was released as
Yeah.
well, and yeah, many other books. So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, so it's won a whole bunch of awards and things like that, and we're now ready to have it on streaming platforms because when you're on the festival circuit, you actually can't stream it on other platforms. So
Ah.
yeah,
So
but
when can we see it streaming, John?
well, I
Not
don't have
yet.
an exact date yet, but
Okay,
I'm in
okay.
talks. I can say that I'm in talks with Gaia. So we were talking to Netflix. They said it's not something that they're going to
Yeah.
air and they're looking to do. But we're now talking to Gaia and we'll see what they say. But just having a contact person with these streaming platforms is like quite a journey within itself. It took me ages to get a
Mm,
contact person in Netflix, and the fact that I was in communication with them, and I find was a result in itself. Even though the door is open for future projects. He says, "Yeah, feel free to contact me," and just hope
hmm.
that the guy will actually stream it. So
I'm sure they will. That seems like a much more appropriate platform anyway, to me.
yeah, it's more personal development focus, high
Yeah.
consciousness, that type of thing. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
That feels
I'll
much more
wait
in
and
line.
see. Yeah, so yeah, basically it was sent to them late last week. So yeah, we'll probably give it a couple of weeks and then send a follow-up email and hopefully get it on Gaia and get it streaming.
Awesome.
So
You guys got to watch. I've been blessed to see a couple of glimpses of it, and Michael Beckwith is in it. It's a phenomenal documentary. Great
yeah,
work, John. I'm
yeah.
so impressed that you, as we wrote this book, you literally leveled up and stepped up to something very scary, and so it became a beautiful opportunity for you to write about it. That was
Well,
amazing
yeah, and then the
work.
world closed down like
That's
midstream.
right. That's
So
right.
yeah, it's like
Oh yeah, COVID happened during this, didn't
yeah, like
it?
so much happened. It was yeah, it was definitely out of my comfort zone nearly every step of the way. But it's I had so much support with it as well. From different film crews. from the back
Cool.
end as well. So there's so many different people that, yeah, many hands make light work, and so I had a solid team behind me, and but yeah, I just had to take the first step, and then have something that,
Do the scary stuff, dude.
yeah, and have
You just show up at Agave and they're like, why are you here?
yeah, right. That was way out of my comfort zone, but interesting. And when you've got, I had a team, I had a DP, and I had an assistant, and yeah, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. But it was definitely way out of my comfort zone. And yeah, but good things come out of it, and the ripple effect.
Exactly.
We just,
Yeah.
we never really know who we're going to inspire. We did do a release of the film on YouTube, but it was as a hidden link. So only those that had the link could actually watch it on YouTube. That's how you're able to watch the film. And yeah, the feedback we've got from an unpromoted, which was awesome feedback. So we've got a lot of comments and things like that already, which was really cool. And it just inspired me to take the next step and reach out to, different streaming platforms and put it on the festival circuit. And it's won a whole bunch of awards, which I didn't think was going to happen. And so, yeah, it's really cool.
This is the stuff that can happen, right? When we started the book 3.5 years ago, this was not even a concept in John's mind, and I don't think he ever would have dreamed of doing something like this. And then suddenly, here we are, 3.5 years later, and now you're a documentarian,
Well, yeah, well, filmmaker. Well, I actually had the idea in
filmmaker. Yeah.
2015 and took action in
Oh, did you?
2016.
Okay. Okay.
Took action in 2016, so it took a while,
Ah,
yeah, to get to this point. And so, yeah, but from 2016, I filmed the last person that was in the film, the last talent. I think it was 2023 in
that's a
was a
long
shoot.
process. Wow.
Yeah, Julie Bloom was the last person, and it was in Costa Rica. She was living in Costa Rica at the time, and she was living in a remote part. There was no film crews or anything like that. So we met in the capital and did a shoot in the capital. So I organized a fixer because most people speak Spanish, and so it was
Right.
a really difficult shoot to put together. And of course, there was a lot of noise and things going on that was unexpected, and had to be the day of the shoot. And there's a lot of things going on, but the footage that we got was awesome, and
Excellent.
so it worked out well in the end. But
Good work.
yes.
Great work. Great work.
Yeah. So for those that are listening or watching along, that are looking for a win, they're looking for, just a next step.
Yeah.
Maybe they're living a life that they know that they feel maybe feeling a little bit stuck. What's an easy first step for someone that's feeling stuck in their current reality?
I always encourage people to dream, to visualize what you want. What is it you would really want, right? If you had your choice right now, what would you like to do? What would you move toward? Or no matter how scary it is. For me, it was leadership. For you, it was a documentary or doing filmmaking. For me, it was being an author, right? There's all sorts of things, or having a soulmate. These are all things that we can dream about. And I think just the act of deciding to go for a dream makes it a reality. You said it very well earlier, and I believe it wholeheartedly. We're given dreams for a reason. They're not things that we can beat our heads against and think, wow, that's never going to happen. If you're given a dream, I 100% believe that you absolutely have the power to make it come true. Now, you may have to work for it, right? You may have to step up a lot. You may have to do some scary things. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone because to reach that dream, you're going to have to grow. But in just setting that intention, that alone, that decision to go after something that matters to you, and you have to decide what that is for you. So that's why I encourage people just to dream, right? We used to do this as kids. We would imagine all the time. And somewhere along the way, we decided as adults that's not okay to do. But I absolutely believe it's something we should all be doing. I think that's a reason. Okay, I'll tell you a little woo-woo story here. I believe that's the reason. So you look at lion cubs, for instance, and they play and they wrestle because they're learning how to fight because later on they're going to need that skill. Well, why is it human kids do this imagination thing, and yet it's not needed later on in life. I don't believe that for a moment. I believe they're doing exactly what we are meant to be doing, which is imagining what we want and then moving in that direction. So they're, as children, we are practicing that skill that we're going to need later on in life. We just don't do it anymore. Instead, we look around us and we say, this is what my life is. But that is what your life maybe currently, but your your thoughts, your intentions, your decisions, you're painting the path for tomorrow. Maybe it's not what it looks like today, but it doesn't matter. Paint a path for what you want and then start stepping toward that. Even the smallest step, which is imagining what you want, and then I believe life starts to bring you those opportunities. You'll look around and suddenly there'll be that thing that you're going for will be maybe not the first step, maybe it's 300 steps from now, but whatever comes up in your life next, when you decide to move toward it, just say yes. And it will likely be scary. It'll be out of your comfort zone. It may be something like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but go for it. See where it leads. Because the worst case that happens, you go, okay, that wasn't for me. Now I can't even less than, I don't know, number of times on one hand where that was actually a thing where I went for something and I went, maybe I don't want to do that. But again, I learned. I realized, okay, that's not something I want to do. Being a regional CEO was a phenomenal opportunity. And I'm glad I'm not doing that job right now because it was exhausting. And I never stopped working, and I don't want to live that way. So sometimes we have to go for things just to see if that's what we want or not. But again, very seldomly, though, does that turn into something, I'm not interested in that. More often, it's like that leads to something else, which leads to something else, which leads to something else, which leads to a film being created or a book being published or a spouse, a
Oh,
soulmate.
yeah, I like
So,
it. That's very well stated. And the power of the imagination and dreaming again,
yeah.
inviting in that childlike wonder. And I mean, that's nothing too woo-woo or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's what that should be normal. Like,
It
everyone
should
should
be.
have like a go-to place in their house where they dream, they meditate, or, maybe they put like a blanket on the grass in the yard and just look up in the clouds and just
Yeah.
let their imagination just, I love to do that and just see like different animals or creatures or faces in the
Yeah.
clouds. And it's
You betcha.
stimulating. And then
Yeah.
the imagination sort of branches out from there, I find. But just there's, yeah, so much that you can actually do to
Yeah.
stimulate that imagination. What is it that you want to create in your life? And yeah, I really like that. That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, it's a great way of introducing some wonder back into your life. Is there
Exactly.
anything yeah. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, please ask your question.
I was just going to say, is there anything that you find that really challenging in your life? Something that you find that's just a bit of a challenge?
It, it's learning to, I still, no matter what level of life. So I came from nearly homeless, right? Almost living on the street, almost running out of food. I I have, honestly, I have stolen before because
Yeah,
I was so destitute. I felt that was the only way I could make enough to eat.
me too.
I have lived on food stamps, welfare, um, and now I'm in a completely different place. I live on a beautiful house up on the hill. I have the woman of my dreams. I have a spiritual path, and yet none of those things. I never would have believed that was possible for me at that time. But yet I set an intention, like this is not the life I want to live anymore. I don't know what my life should look like, but it's not this anymore. And yet, even though I have come miles from where I was, I still believe there's more for me to have. There's more growth, more opportunity for me. And it still scares me just as much as it did when I was back, nearly homeless. The idea of being able to step up to another level. But I think that's what life's all about. It's finding that next level and the next level and the next level and keeping going for it. But that's what makes life exciting. It'd be so boring if we just went to work every day and came home and that was it. And we turned on Netflix and the next day we did the same thing, day after day after day after day. Get some excitement back in your life, get some passion back in your life. So find something that motivates you or find something that scares you, right? And then go for it. I tell a story in the book about heights. I do not like heights at all. That's up, it ranks up there with public speaking for me, or did anyway. And yet I will find opportunities to go push myself against heights periodically. And I get through and I'm sweating and exhausted and drained, but I chipped away at that wall that day. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
So keep chipping away at that wall because that's what life's about. We didn't come here to just sit and be idle. We came to go for it.
go for it. Yeah, make it count. Live it to
Yeah.
the fullest. I love it.
As
And yeah, I
as
really appreciate.
Wayne,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off for a little bit of a delay, but yes, Wayne Dyer said, right? Don't die with the music still in you.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
One of the things I used to do is visit cemeteries and just
Wow.
read the different graves and just wonder like,
Wow.
well, how was this person's life? And did they die with their music still in them? Did they have
Right.
unborn dreams? And that was
Yeah.
one of the things that I did after one of a particular shoot was down in Austin, Texas. It was with Rod Harrison, and
Okay.
he was dropping into the airport. I said, if you could just drop me to there's a cemetery here. Just stop in the cemetery. Just give me 10 minutes. I just want to go in there and yeah, just to inspire me to take action. I've got some footage now. Don't sit on it. Take the next step and have
Yeah.
any dreams. And yeah, he was really touched by that. And he came and yeah, he waited for me and just on the outside. And yeah, it was yeah, just moments like that to remind myself that hey, like I'm still here. I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
Opportunity to bring something out in the world that could make a difference to someone else's life.
So is it looking at your mortality, realizing that one day I'm going to be there and I don't want to let this
Yeah,
fizzle out in the meantime?
yeah, like both. Like I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Still have dreams that I can fulfill, and also
Yeah.
how many people went to their grave with unrealized dreams,
Mm.
with unfulfilled potential, and
Wow, that's
just remind
powerful.
myself, yeah, as a metaphor. That yeah, I can go for it. And there's so many people that, and I stumbled across one particular time I was at a cemetery just outside of Culver City and in Los
Mhm.
Angeles, and I was staying there. I was living there for a period of about 3 months, and I came across a young child's grave. Didn't make it
Oh,
past 7, and I was like, wow, like didn't live, didn't get an opportunity, and yet here I am stuck in a little bit of fear here, a lot of fear.
right.
And this young child didn't get an opportunity or a chance, and so I sort of owe it to this person that I've never even met. To I've got an opportunity to do something with my life.
Mm.
So that sort of level of yeah,
Wow.
yeah, to
I've
help.
never
Yeah,
visited a cemetery outside of a member of my family dying, but
yeah.
I might go do that. That's very
Yeah.
powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
It just has a certain energy just to walk amongst the graves and so yeah, I've done that in many different countries around the world now.
Huh.
Visit a cemetery and yeah, feel.
Okay. You've inspired me. I'm going to do that. Thank you, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. And well, it's been great chatting with you. Is there any sort of last words or anything that you want to leave with people? Or
Yeah, I mean, we covered it pretty well. I've said it a few times now, but really, please, please, please take bold actions. Just don't stay stuck wherever you are in life. Again, I lived on food stamps, right? I was barely scraping by. I thought I was going to end up homeless. And yet my life is so radically different from where it was. And it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like I got lucky and I flipped a switch. It was a long process. I've been doing this for 30, almost 38 years now from when I was there. Um, but it's worth it. It's worth pushing on those fears. It's worth stepping outside of that comfort zone because life becomes beautiful. It becomes exciting. It becomes scary. All those feelings come up that you're not going to feel watching Netflix. I mean, you might feel it for somebody else, but not for your life. So let's stop living vicariously and let's live it in our own lives instead. Turn off the game and let's live the real game that's out here.
hey man, love that preaching, and it was an honor to collaborate with you. Of course,
You
this
as
is
well, my
the
friend.
beginning of the journey, and yeah, looking forward to yeah more talks like this.
You and me both. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And
Yeah,
yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more yeah real life stories like this. All right, peace out.
take care. Much love.